That's for losers, man. I don't get involved in that stuff, but
Angel Rashad Milligan rolling out.
That's a good question.
Brandon,
we can't ask Rashad questions.
Hey, Rashad.
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, this is the Road to 5K Sales. My name is Rashad Milligan. Nice to meet you. First things first, we got a few things coming up, and I would like to go to sleep tonight. So let's get into it without further ado. First things first. Shout out to BET. First of all, BET denied me for the red carpet this year, but it's all good. It's all good. We'll still figure something out. Kel Mitchell, who loves orange soda? Kel loves orange soda. He does. Kel Mitchell plans to open the orange soda brand inspired by his Kenan and Kel fame. The actor says his version of the classic drink will have a healthier twist. And as always, of course, Kel Mitchell, a friend of the channel, things of that sort. I always have to shout him out. Give me a second here. Let me see if I can find it. All right, we're going to give it a second. Hold on, twin. Let me see if I can find it. Y'all make sure y'all get his book. Y'all make sure y'all support my boy Kel Mitchell. Get the book, get the soda, the orange soda, and here we go. For sure. And obviously the most serious question of the interview and the most profound question. I think you already know it. I can see it already. Kel Mitchell, could you please tell me who loves orange soda?
Okay, I'm doing for Kel loves orange soda. I do. Ooh. But drink water.
Kel Mitchell, bruh. I ain't gonna lie. This is one of the best moments of my career, bruh. I ain't gonna hold you, bruh. Kel Mitchell, bruh. He said he loves orange soda. Kel Mitchell was taking his love for orange soda from the small screens to the store shelves. Here we go. The bow tie. I know, right? I had on the Star of David. I was selling bean pies on the West End that day outside of the AEC. Hey, my brother, I shouldn't mock other people. I'm sorry. The Nation of Islam. I don't want any smoke. It was a joke. Kel Mitchell was taking his love of orange soda from the small screens to the store shelves during a Q&A at 90s Con in Hartford, Connecticut. The Kenan and Kel star teased plans to launch his own brand of orange soda inspired by the cult favorite Nickelodeon sitcom that helped them define 90s pop culture. According to People, the 46-year-old actor and comedian shared the news after leading the crowd in his iconic catchphrase, "Who loves orange soda? Kel loves orange soda. I do. But it's coming, okay? My own orange soda," Mitchell announced. Yay. I was on the phone with my attorney because it has to be healthy. I can't have kids out here just drinking fructose and sugar, you know what I mean? So we've been working on it. Mitchell reminisced about how the quirky character trait originated, revealing that it stemmed from a rainy day brainstorming session with the writer from Kenan and Kel. However, Mitchell's love for nostalgia didn't end with soda. He also revealed that he and a longtime friend Kenan Thompson were already brainstorming Good Burger 3. Me and Kenan actually sat down and talked about the script. It's going to go down, he confirmed. We're not going to make you guys wait over 15 years. I think they should also probably just do a show. Like Kenan and Kel should probably do like another show, whether it be a sitcom or a sketch show. I don't know. I feel like NBC has tried to let Kenan branch out from being the longest tenured SNL cast member by giving him a show. I don't know if you guys remember it, but he had a show on NBC, and a few years ago, Nick did the same thing with Kel, where they made him executive producer, and he had like a role on, I don't know if it was Henry Danger, but it was some Nickelodeon show. And then they tried to bring back all that for a month or two. That didn't necessarily work out because TV just isn't what TV used to be. But yeah, hold on, let me see. I believe he had a show. Yeah, he had a show called Kenan, It lasted 1 year from 2021 to 2022. It had the guy Chris Redd, who also used to be on SNL. So they tried it. It just didn't work. So what I think they should do, I think they should just get together again and figure out something, whether it be, I know the obvious kind of just cliche 2025 thing to do is a podcast, but I don't know, maybe like a comedy tour together where those guys are doing improv on stage, something like at 85 South Show. I don't know, but they have to figure out some way to kind of keep things going because it's kind of like the Migos, right? Like they're better when they're together. And yeah, so we'll see what happens with that with Kel. Salute to Kel Mitchell, man. As always, like I say, friend of the channel. Classic moment. Let me see if I could see anything with Kel, with Keenan and Kel. How Keenan's talent took him from Studio 8H and beyond. Many Saturday Night Live members, past and present, built a successful career before they even took the stage at Studio AH, and Kenan Thompson is a prime example. Thompson is the longest running cast member in SNL history, 21 seasons under his belt. This was written in what year? This was written in 2023, so this was 2 years ago, so it's been like 23 seasons now. Thompson, but prior to that, Thompson was cracking jokes as a cast member on the children's sketch comedy series All That. I tried. Thompson's first rose to fame in the early 1990s, quickly grown himself as a certified star, effortlessly packing punchlines and witty one-liners into each of his projects. I enjoyed being around and noticing people who were smiling at what I was doing, Thompson told Variety. Looking back at launching his career on All That, I did enjoy amusing people playing around, so it's easy for me to still feel young, even though I look back and I'm like, dang, that's 30 works of years. There's 30 years of work there. Shout out to Kenan Thompson, by the way. East Point product, I believe. East Tri-Cities product, excuse me. Tri-Cities product. Speaking of Atlanta, like Anthony Edwards let us down, didn't he? Jeez Louise. Bro, disintegrated, just disappeared the last 2-3 games of the series. I say the last 2 games of the series, and he didn't make any excuses in the post game. He didn't say he was hurt. He didn't come out in the cast. He owned up to it. Just said they were prepared. We weren't. I don't know how you cannot be prepared in the biggest games of your career, trying to bounce back from last year's losses to Luka Doncic and being embarrassed by the Dallas Mavericks, but somehow they find a way to do it again. And it's been 2 straight years they've shrunk on the biggest stage. Thompson first achieved fame as a child star on Nickelodeon, first appearing on the OG cast of the sketch comedy series All That in 1994. The casting was a foreshadow for his future SNL career a decade later. Thompson's memorable characters include the meme-worthy Pierre Escargot, a questionably Frenchman in a raincoat who'd bask in a bubble bath for everyday French, plus Bradley, the big old baby, Baggins, Saganberry, and Super Dude. Another beloved running All That joke was the meta Mavis and Clavis characters featuring Thompson as Mavis and Kenan Mitchell as Clavis, elderly hecklers who'd introduce musical guests and often stir chaos for the rest of the cast. From seasons 1 through 5, each episode ended with Clavis falling into the audience, prompting Thompson's Mavis to yell, "Hey, Clavis, wake up, the show is over." Thompson was on the All That cast member from seasons 1 through 5 and had a guest role on season 7. He also guest starred in seasons 10 and 11, executively producing the 11th season. Thompson executively produced the 2019 reboot of All That alongside his longtime co-star Mitchell. After appearing in dozens of All That sketches through seasons 1 through 4, the Mavis and Clavis duo had proved that their undeniable chemistry could bring a dynamic to the big screen with the Nickelodeon sitcom Kenan and Kel. The series followed a straight man teenager. What? Keenan Rockmore and his orange soda loving best friends, Kel Kimball, through various misadventures and ridiculous get-rich-quick schemes. Each episode kicked off with the Keenan chattering to the audience on what to expect in the episode, much to confuse Kel's dismay, thus sparking Kel's catchphrase, which began and ended each episode with, "Ah, here it goes." We're riffling off of one another and ripping off on one another, and all the jokes were just working. Mitchell told Variety, "It's so cool to see One of those things manifests that we were talking about as kids, going through the drive-through after shooting the show, or just having talks in the dressing room about where we wanted our career to go and where our lives should go. Kenan and Kel was a smash hit, airing for 4 seasons from 1999 to 2001. Thompson reprised the role of Kenan Rockmore in the 1998 episode of Sabrina the Teenage Witch and a 1999 episode of Cousin Skeeter. The sitcoms lives on in a 2019 episode of Double Dare. Thompson and Mitchell appeared as contestants in the battle of Team Kel versus Team Kenan, and in the sketch of Keke Palmer's 2022 SNL episode featuring a cameo from Mitchell as himself as Kel. Palmer expressed interest in playing Kelly in a reboot called Kenan and Kelly. Kenan Thompson's early TV guest roles. Thompson has appeared in dozens of television projects over his 3-year career. While starring in Kenan and Kel, he also had guest roles in Sister Sister 1997, The Amanda Show 1999, The Parkers 2000, Felicity 2001, and Off Center 2002. 2003 was a pivotal year for Thompson, as it's also when he first took the stage on Saturday Night Live. So there it is. Kenan and Kel, bro. Shout out to one of the greatest comedic duos ever. It's definitely history. Okay. All right. Bet. What's next? And shout out to Kel Mitchell. Y'all make sure y'all get the orange soda. Trump has commuted Larry Hoover's sentence. The president, on a pardon spree, shortened the infamous former gang leader sentence after years of advocates pressing for his release. President Donald Trump has commuted the sentence of Larry Hoover, the infamous former gang leader from Chicago, according to a White House official. Hoover, the co-founder of the Chicago Gangster Disciples, has been serving multiple life sentences since 1970s. Multiple life sentences is crazy. He has multiple state and federal convictions, including unaliving and founding a criminal enterprise. He has made repeated requests to shorten his sentence under the First Step Act, a criminal justice reform bill passed during Trump's first term. Right, hold on. I don't even know what that is, so I can't even go here. All right. Okay. I'm a completely different person than the man who went to prison in 1997, Hoover told a court in 2024. Hoover had been serving out his sentence at ADX Florence, a supermax prison in Colorado, considered one of the highest security prisons in the country. Hoover's communication comes after a series of public pleas from prominent black celebrities. Hoover was the subject of the 2021 Free Larry Hoover benefit concert organized by Kanye West and Drake. This week, the White House has pardoned a series of convicted Americans that includes Todd and Julie Chrisley, reality TV stars who were charged with tax evasion and bank fraud, a former Virginia sheriff who was convicted on fraud and bribery charges, and Paul Walzak, a CEO who pled guilty to tax crimes and whose mother was a major Trump donor. Trump also on Wednesday issued a full pardon to Michael Grimm, the White House official confirmed. Grimm, a former Republican congressman from New York, pleaded guilty in 2014 to tax fraud charges. Grimm completed his sentence in less than a year of prison shortly after, before losing a race to reclaim his old seat. Jasmine Wright is reported with notice. Shout out to Jasmine Wright, bro. Y'all make sure y'all support Jasmine Wright. Hold on, where are we at? Here's Jasmine Wright. There she is right here. She used to work for CNN, where she covered the White House and everything like that. Shout out to Jasmine Wright. This was a great scoop. So this was a huge talk of the day. Larry Hoover getting out. Someone said this. Larry Hoover's Brandon Pope said this. Excuse me. Let me throw some respect on Brandon Pope's name. Larry Hoover's federal sentence was commuted. He still has to finish his 200-year Illinois state prison sentence for a unalive conviction. Trump's commission does not cover that. So there's that from Brandon Pope, and then somebody else. People still has a life sentence. Shout out to 285 Slim. my classmate from since I was 8 years old. Crazy, right? All of this talk of pardon and Hoover, Chauvin, people don't take into account that they will not be free because they have concurrent state cases with Democratic states. It's all about PR and optics. And folks will still fall for it because it makes them feel good. And Chance the Rapper, he spoke on Larry Hoover getting out.
Before I let y'all politicize this or memify this, I just got to say I am glad that Larry Hoover is home.
What?
And I got to remind y'all that he was a political prisoner that was set up by the federal government.
Larry Hoover is not home, Chance. That's not Chance. That's not how that works.
That he created the what was it, Chicago votes. He did so many things to really mobilize our people, and he was really targeted for that shit. And so before niggas get to cooning or doing whatever they finna do with this information, I just want to say I'm so glad that he's home, and God bless his family, and yeah. Before I let y'all politicize this or memify this,
What you say? I had a song, but I'm not gonna sing it because I enjoy my freedom. But it was a song that was very popular when Donda 1 came out, and it didn't come from Kanye himself. If you know, you know. It was something about in the dough. I'll say that. They let him in the dough. That was the song. This only resolves him from federal charges. He's still facing 130 years in the state, but he's been there since the early 70s with good time and time served credit. He should get it done pretty soon. You're very close to connecting the dots, my man. How about Trump mobilizing our people? Forget you're American or not. Chance. Okay, all right, bro. Imagine falling off so bad that you got to be introduced as a guest on No Jumper. He's finally home with his kids and grandkids. All he ever tried to do was better his community, welcome home. He had to, like Trump, made him a political prisoner. He's his information. Oh, he's miseducated. I don't see what the big deal is. What exactly do you want him to do when he comes out? Dude is an old man and is going to live his life like any other old man that comes out of prison. He's making it seem like dude's going to run for president or something. Oh, man. Jeez Louise. Okay, so that was Chance the Rapper on Larry Hoover. Here's YoungBoy. YoungBoy was also pardoned today. He's been out, but he's pardoned on, I guess, his federal charges and things of that sort. YoungBoy never broke again. NBA YoungBoy. I want to thank President Trump for granting me a pardon and giving me an opportunity to keep building as a man, as a father, and as an artist. This moment means a lot. It opens a door for a future I've worked hard for, and I'm fully prepared to step into this. Big thanks to the Pardon Czar, Miss Alice Marie Johnson for fighting for second chances for so many people, and to my lawyer, Brittany K. Barnett, for being in my corner and all the hard work to make this possible. Thank you to everyone who believed in me. I'm grateful, focused, I'm ready. Kentrell, and he tagged Donald Trump. Okay. Oh, hold on. Do we have more stuff before I just speak, I guess? All right, and here's the last thing. Trump pardoned YoungBoy Lil Wayne. Hold on, let me bring this back up. Give me a second. GQ with Game. Trump pardoned YoungBoy, Lil Wayne, Kodak, and Larry Hoover. This man got a general racial pardon resume. This isn't. I how do I say this? I don't care that famous black people tied to things that have held the community back, regardless of what it was a product of, environment, upbringing, redlining, opportunity. whatever the case might be. I don't care, bro. Like I honestly don't care. I don't know how that helps the community. I don't know how that uplifts the community when so many other people who aren't famous are still behind bars. Um, I just don't see the like why are we celebrating you know what I'm saying, why NBA YoungBoy's federal charges clean? Like why are we celebrating that? Like what's the celebration here? What was YoungBoy like, you know what I'm saying, even had those lists of charges for? Kodak, same thing. Larry Hoover with starting GD, like what? Well, now see, I don't want to be crazy now because I'm not from Chicago. I'm from the South. So let me see. What good has GDK done for? Okay, you can say the community. We'll go there. No, for Chicago. The origins of the Gangster Disciples started in Inglewood in Chicago, South Side in 1964. Shout out to Inglewood. Shout out to the Vegan World Cafe. Shout out to all my people on the Inglewood side. The shot for sure. Those my folks. When 13-year-old Larry the King Hoover joined the small street gang called the Supreme Gangsters. For years, the Supreme Gangsters had an outstanding war with the Black Disciples Nation, led by David Barksdale. In 1969, Hoover and Barksdale agreed to ceasefire. This resulted in the creation of the Black Gangster Disciple Nation. By the early 1970s, the BGDN dominated the Chicago gang scene. Barksdale was unalive, passed away from kidney failure in 1974. At the age of 27, following his passing, Hoover assumed full control of the Black Gangster Disciples. Okay. Splintering of the Black Disciples. Notable incidents of related violence. Dang. They got a sergeant of the U.S. Army in Germany? Jeez Louise. Goodness gracious. Air Force. The disciples were implicated in the 2008 Cecil Dawson Sr., his fiancee, Marissa Williams, fellow member of the Hollis Seals, and his girlfriend. Oh, my goodness. Oh, brother. Also were Cecil and Marissa's 4-year-old son and Cecil's. Oh, my goodness. So what's all the good stuff they done, bro? On August 22nd, 1995. I remember in Donda 1, Larry Hoover Jr. is speaking. He said, my father has been there. He hasn't been able to see my kids. Please. He said all the stuff that he's done. He's a changed man. And with the laws. Hold on. Let me see. I need to see your argument, bro. Because to me, bro, it's just, you know what I'm saying? Why should Larry Hoover be freed? Let me see if I can find. Let me see. I'm trying to see if I can find any reason, any argument.
You're under our roof. Save up to 25%
5,000
by
subs.
bundling your home
No
and
more advertisements. This is from, who's this from? Young Will.
The youth need to hear what you saying so they kids don't be in a situation like I've been in, talking about free my father, you know? Like, this the information, this what they need to know, that we need to be together.
with the legendary, hard-working, boots on the ground, frontline soldier for our community and prison reform and, you know, everything around, you know, making our communities a safe and decent place to live. I'm with the one and only Larry Hoover Jr., brother. It's a pleasure.
Oh, man, it's a pleasure to be here with you, man.
I just got through playing the album for everybody that was in attendance for the War Cry album private release party. And I had my manager, I'm like, man, is there any way, do you have any type of connections or relationships with our brother Larry Hoover Jr.? And she said, I do, right? So I'm like, okay. She said, a lot of people have seen the email, but everybody isn't responding. I can't guarantee you that he will show up or that he'll be here. And I said, okay, as long as you can reach out to him for me or somebody connect with him. But when I saw this brother in the building, I'm not gonna lie, you know, like I wasn't, you know. Hey man, I was in my feelings just a little bit, just a little bit. And man, it's just an honor to be backstage with you, man. I'm excited to hear, you know what you thought about the project and just everything that we got going on with the Unity movement, big bro.
Oh man, for me, it's a breath of fresh air. You know what I mean? It's everything I've been looking for and what I've been talking about. You know, it's like I listened to Public Enemy and, you know, people that was fighting for us, you know, trying to, you know, put our mind in the right places. And, you know, you're doing it in the current time and you're doing it with current music, current beats. You know, you sound just like, I mean, you the youth, you know what I mean? And you bringing positive energy, you know, bringing unity music, trying to bring us together. And that's what I'm trying to do. So,
come on.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, man. I like what you're doing. Keep doing it. And even before y'all reached out to me, you know, I bumped into you in the airport and I'm like, dang, that was okay. We gotta get up. But I had been seeing the snippets of what you was doing and I liked it the whole time, you know what I mean? I like how the brothers were standing there strong and you know what I mean, showing the strength and man, it's a good thing that you're doing, man. Keep doing it and I'm happy to try to help you wherever you can. I'm quite sure we can do that with each other.
I saw you in the airport and I wanted to stop right there and talk to you, big bro, but I didn't know what you had going on. I know you got a lot of people that walk up to you, but I said after I shook your head and said, brother, man, it's a pleasure to meet you. I said, we're going to connect, bro. We're going to connect. And it's so beautiful that we not only connected, but brother was coming to my private release party to come and hear, you know, what it was that I represented and what I had coming out. And really just in response to everything that he was saying, like, it mean a lot coming from him, though. I'm not gonna lie to you. It mean a lot coming from him because I know what he stands for. I know the battle he's been fighting with his father, and I know, you know, he's it's the uphill road, big bro. So to hear that, you know, my message by God's grace is in alignment with what it is that he stands for, and brother is willing to help me and aid me on this journey. It just goes to show the importance of unity and the power of unity. And when we align, you know, the young, you know, with the veterans, man.
The youth need to hear what you saying so they kids don't be in a situation like I've been in talking about free my father, you know? Like this the information, that's what they need to know, that we need to be together. All this battling with each other and we got a bigger war to fight than with each other. We don't even really have a war with each other. We just need to get our mind right and understand what we're doing. So yeah.
Hey, listen, let me say this, man, as I'm holding this brother's hand. We pushing peace, we pushing unity. We are going to make our communities a safe and a decent place to live. And we're going to make sure we put in the work to ensure that we eradicate and put an end to the culture, the death and the murder culture that has ensured that we have lost millions of young black men and women's lives. We're going to stand on it. We're going to put in this work. And this is the beginning of a new era. It's a pleasure, big brother, to be here with you.
Yeah, I don't see why this should be a reason of celebration. I'm not even gonna hold you. Like some people say, he's an old man at this point. So it's like, you know, when he gets out, he won't be a threat to society. He'll just be like a normal old man. I totally see that. I think it'd be nice for him to see his grandchildren and his son and be able to spend time with them on his last, you know what I'm saying, final quarter of life and things of that sort. So that'd be cool. But in terms of just like the black community, like, yay, you let out a man who started one of the more destructive gangs in America. And you let out one of the more reckless rappers on the mainstream level. Thank you. Yes, you clean record. Yes, on the federal level. Thank you, Donald Trump. I know I could barely eat right now, and rent is higher than ever, and I could barely even afford toilet paper. But thank you so much for letting the multimillionaire that NBA YoungBoy is, the man who created left foot, right, ooh, walking with that heater. Thank you so much for clearing that man's federal charges, even though he's been home, even though he has a tour where he's going back to Louisiana not once but twice, even though he's doing an arena tour this fall where he's going to make so much money, it's going to be sickening to see the numbers. Even though he's one of the more successful artists of his generation, and a large part of that is that his actual story goes along with the story that he's telling in his raps. Even though, despite all of that, that NBA YoungBoy is going to be NBA YoungBoy regardless. We thank you, Donald Trump, for wiping out his federal charges. I appreciate that, twin. I may not be able to afford a new house as a single man. I can, however, sleep well at night, whether it be in an apartment, a rented property, a rooming house, or my mama's house, knowing that NBA YoungBoy's felony record is cleared. The man who had 4 babies at the age of 17 and currently is competing with Nick Cannon to have the most babies in the world out of any black celebrity in America. We thank you for clearing his federal charges. Now I can sleep well at night. Thank you, Donald Trump. Thank you, sir. Thank you for letting LeAngelo Ball. Man, if you didn't let LeAngelo Ball free from the Chinese, we would have never had Tweaker. Y'all know that's one of my favorite songs of the. I might swerve in that corner. Whoa, whoa. Without Donald Trump and his works, we never would have had ASAP Rocky get Rihanna pregnant. Oh man, thank you, Donald Trump. I know the prices of groceries just continue to climb up, and some of my favorite local restaurants have had to close because they didn't want to raise their prices up because the supplies and the cheese and the ingredients that they use, that they buy from suppliers, those prices have gone up, and they didn't want to continue to keep just raising up the menus prices. So they had to shut down and close. Forget all that. Jello gave us Tweaker. Kodak Black gave us, look, Kodak, they don't like you. That was years ago. I don't know any Kodak song. Ring, spin around. No, that was a few years ago too. I don't know any big Kodak songs in the past year or two from the time that you wiped clear his record and sent him to the White House and he said, trust Trump and I'm a Trump guy and this and that. I don't know, but Kodak is, one of my favorite guys from that generation, from that SoundCloud era, that 2015, 2016, 2017. I was in the Kodak chokehold, boy. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'd be lying to you if I said I wasn't. Kodak, why you move like that? Why you act like that? I put my in. Kodak, why you move like that? And I'll tell you this, NBA YoungBoy, I felt like I'm Gucci Man in 2006. All they diamond dancing on. I think that's one of the best hip hop songs of the modern times. Make no sense. NBA YoungBoy. I do not care that their federal criminal records have been wiped off. You know why? Because when he did that in 2016, when 2020, 2024 came around, you said he does nothing for the black community. Who let ASAP Rocky out? Who let LeAngelo Ball out? I'm like, oh my goodness. Are you serious, bro? We can't afford groceries. We can't afford to get a house. We can't afford to get new cars. We can barely afford to live at the median income of Americans, the single Americans. You can barely afford to live by yourself. Cost of living is through the roof. Police are still policing. If anything, police are being aided and trained more to be more police than they are now. Cost of colleges continues to go up. Everything's going up, bro. Netflix going up. Streaming services going up. YouTube going up. I'm about to buy YouTube Red when I hit 5,000 subscribers. But y'all remember, this is the man who has cleared the federal criminal records for NBA YoungBoy, Larry Hoover, and Kodak. Y'all better make some noise. Y'all better make some noise. And y'all better be grateful that he has done something for the black community and you blacks. All you blacks better be grateful that Donald Trump, the great president, has done something for the community way more than Barack Obama, way more than Joe Biden have done for the black community. And you better sit there and clap.
Mr. President, Wall Street analysts have coined a new term called the taco trade. They're saying Trump always chickens out on your tariff threat and not
Hey, yo.
markets are higher this week. What's your response to that?
I kick out?
Chicken out.
Oh, isn't that nice? Chicken out. I've never heard that. You mean because I reduced China from 145% that I set down to 100 and then down to another number? And I said you have to open up your whole country. And because I gave the European Union a 50% tax tariff, and they called up and they said, please, let's meet right now. Please, let's meet right now. And I said, okay, I'll give you till July. I actually asked them, I said, what's the date? Because they weren't willing to meet. And after I did what I did, they said, we'll meet anytime you want. And we have an end date of July 9th. You call that chickening out? Because we have $14 trillion now invested, committed to investing when Biden didn't have practically anything. This country was dying. You know, we have the hottest country anywhere in the world. I went to Saudi Arabia. The king told me, he said, you got the hottest we have the hottest country in the world right now. 6 months ago,
#1 on Billboard.
this country was stone cold dead. We had a dead country. We had a
flopped.
Country people didn't think it was going to survive. And you ask a nasty question like that. It's called negotiation. You set a number. And if you go down, if I set a number at a ridiculous high number and I go down a little bit, they want me to hold that number, 145% tariff. Even I said, man, that really got up. You know how it got? Because of fentanyl and many other things. And you added it up. I said, where are we now? We're at 145%. I said, whoa, that's high. That's high. They were doing no business whatsoever, and they were having a lot of problems. We were very nice to China. I don't know if they're going to be nice to us, but we were very nice to China. And in many ways, I think we really helped China tremendously because, they were having great difficulty because we were basically going cold turkey with China. We were doing no business because of the tariff, because it was so high. But I knew that. But don't ever say what you said. That's a nasty question. Go ahead. To me, that's the nastiest question. Wait a minute. Wait. Go ahead, please. Actually, I'm surprised that it wasn't, the public wasn't notified a long time ago, because to get to stage 9, that's a long time. I just had my physical. You saw that. You saw the
stage 9. Stage 9. Prayers up to that boy Joey B, for sure. Prayers up to Donald Trump as he's getting, I feel like a lot of the things that we saw, honestly, with Biden's thinking and his speech, things of that sort, we starting to see a little bit with old boy. He's 78 now, about to be 79, creeping into them 80s. And Father Time is undefeated, bro. Father Time is undefeated. Even Cornel West is like 72, 73, 74, 75. Like, they all was just old, bro. It was crazy. Like, Jill Stein might have been like the only person who was like how old Jill Stein? Probably like 50. Jill Stein might be in her 60s. Jill Stein was, man, stop it. Jill Stein 75 herself, bro. Cornel West would have been the youngest president at the tender age of 72 because he about to be 72 in a couple days. Ridiculous, brother. Next, man. She's out of my life. She's out of my life. Oh no. Washington, AP. Elon Musk leaves Trump administration after a turbulent effort to slash the government. Elon, what the world, Elon? We'll go to where we want to go. We want to go to NBC News. We'll go to NBC News. Then I'll go to Fox News after. Elon Musk officially leaves the White House. The billionaire Tesla CEO departed a day after he called a Republican bill to fund Trump's agenda, quote unquote, disappointing. This was written by Kenny Holston. No. The picture was taken by Kenny Holston. This was written by Nnamdi Egwonwu, Julia Jester, and Jason Abruzes. Elon Musk's days of working at the White House are over. Musk, the billionaire Tesla CEO, whom President Donald Trump enlisted to cut waste in the federal government, started offboarding from his role on Wednesday, a White House official told NBC News, a day after he criticized a Republican bill to fund much of Trump's agenda. Two sources later confirmed to NBC News that Musk's more than 114-day tenure as a special government employee officially concluded on Wednesday evening. Musk commented on his exit on Wednesday on X, his social media platform. He called for a Doge mission to become a way of life throughout the government, referring his Department of Government Efficiency Initiative. As my scheduled time as special government employee comes to an end, I would like to thank President real Donald Trump for the opportunity to reduce wasteful spending, wrote Musk, the richest person in the world. While a senior White House official has previously stressed that Musk is a friend of Trump's, the White House did not provide an on-the-record comment on Wednesday about Musk's departure. NBC News has reported that special government employees, a class of temporary worker that included Musk, can temporarily work up to 111 days in a calendar year, though the days can be split up. The White House first publicly acknowledged Musk's role on February 3rd, so he was most likely nearing the end of that tenure. Musk's official departure came at a changed moment in his relationship with Trump. On Tuesday, CBS News Sunday Morning shared a clip of him sharing his disappointment in a massive spending bill, which he says undermines the work of his Doge operation, which he aimed to reduce federal spending by slashing the size of the federal workforce, cutting government programs, and eliminating grants deemed wasteful. The Congressional Budget Office estimated the Republican funding package will add $2.3 trillion to the federal deficit over 10 years, largely because of the extensions of Trump's 2017 tax cuts and new expenditures that outweigh the savings. Musk initially set out to cut upward to $2 trillion through the operation, a goal he later significantly walked back. Now he leaves the government with Doge having thus fallen well short of the $1 trillion of savings he once touted on the campaign trail. As of Wednesday evening, the Doge government website claimed $175 billion in savings, though its claims have been found to be questionable. Trump responded to Musk's criticisms on Wednesday afternoon in the Oval Office, defending the funding package. He said legislation would deliver on several of his key priorities, but he also noted the complexities of passing such a sprawling bill through a sharply divided House. My reaction to a lot of things, number one, we aren't getting a lot of votes. We have to get a lot of votes, We can't be cutting we need to get a lot of support. We had to get a lot of support. We had to get it through the House, Trump said. Musk was the only visible person in the early days of the second Trump administration securing Trump's favor after having fueled his 2024 presidential campaign upward to $250 million, according to campaign finance records. He was frequently seen alongside Trump, often wearing the Trump hat while appearing with one of his youngest children. Musk appeared to relish in the role of Trump's waste and fraud czar, talking stage at the Conservative Political Action Conference in February with a sizable chainsaw to tout his cost-cutting initiative. Musk also at one point threatened to use his wealth to fund challengers to any Republicans who dare to oppose Trump's agenda. But behind the scenes, tension between Musk and Trump and other Trump administration members mounted, with some of those making their way through public news reports about tense meetings and shadow matches. Musk also took some of his grievances public, including criticism of Trump's tariffs. Meanwhile, Musk's public profile suffered, as did the perception of most of his consumer-centric business, Tesla. Public poll numbers showed that he and Doge were relatively unpopular, and Tesla vehicles and dealerships became targets of protests and vandalism. Tesla's stock was down 11% so far this year. Trump continued to support Musk at one point in March, turning the south line of the White House into an impromptu Tesla showroom and buying one of his vehicles. Musk's power, both in terms of cash contributions as well as his political clout, took a hit in late March when Republicans lost a high-profile judicial election in Wisconsin, which Musk spent heavily and became a target for Democrats. Musk had maintained that his participation in the Trump administration and Doge was temporary, but in the recent weeks, he has signaled that he may pull back from politics more broadly. Over the weekend, he wrote on X that he will be back to spending 24/7 at work and sleeping in conference rooms, server, factory rooms. Last week, he said that he planned to scale down his sizable spending on politics, though he said he would spend in the future if he saw a reason to do so. I don't currently see a reason. Shout out to Namdi. While Musk said Doge will continue to operate, it's unclear how much pull it will have for him without him at the helm. The legacy of the Musk-led effort will most likely be reflected legislatively, as the House is expected to soon put forth a recessions package to codify Doge cuts. We want to make sure the Congress passes its first recessions bill, including the Doge cuts. We will send more if they pass it. Office of Management and Budget Director Ross Vaught told Fox Business on Wednesday. So that is NBC News. Here's Fox News. Musk officially steps down from Doge after wrapping up the work streamlining government. Musk was hired as a special government employee, which only permits 130 days of employment. This is from Emma Colton, Elizabeth Pritchard, Patrick Ward. Elon Musk is beginning the process of stepping down from his role as the head of the government efficiency Doge. The Tesla and SpaceX CEO posted on X on Wednesday night that his time as a special government employee has come. Has come into an end, and he thanked President Donald Trump for the opportunity to cut down on wasteful spending. The Doge mission will only strengthen over time as it becomes a way of life throughout the government, Musk wrote in his post. The White House confirmed to Fox that Musk's post was accurate and offboarding will begin on Wednesday night. Musk has been a public face of Doge since Trump signed an executive order establishing office on January 20th. Doge has been ripped through every federal government agency in a quest to identify and end government overspending, corruption, and fraud. He was officially hired as a quote-unquote special government employee, which is a role in Congress created in 1962 that allows the executive or legislative branch to hire temporary employees for specific short-term initiatives. Special government employees are permitted to work for the federal government for quote-unquote no more than 30 days in a 365-day period, according to the data from the Office of Government Ethics. Musk's 130 days time frame beginning on Inauguration Day was set to run dry on May 30th. And it is May 28th. Where are we at? Doge is a temporary cross-departmental organization that was established to slim down and streamline the federal government. The group itself was dissolved on July 4th, 2026, according to Trump's executive order. Musk and Trump have both previously previewed that Musk's role was temporary and would end in the spring. You technically are the special government employee, and you're supposed to be for 130 days. Fox News, Brett Baier asked Musk during an exclusive interview with Musk and his Doge team members in April. Are you going to continue past that, or do you think that's what you're going to do? I think we have accomplished most of the work required to reduce the deficit by $1 trillion within that time frame, Musk reported. Trump hinted at Musk's departure in comments to reporters on March 31st when he was asked what he wants Musk to remain in a government role no longer than a predetermined 130 days. I think he's amazing, but I also think he has got a big company to run, Trump said in March. And so at some point, he's going to go back. I keep him as long as I can keep him, Trump said. He's a very talented guy. You know, I love very smart people. He's very smart. He's done a good job. The president added, Doge we've found numbers that nobody can believe. More recently, Musk said that the Tesla earnings on April 22nd, that he will take a step back from his work as the Doge leader. So there is that. And it's pretty much the rest of it, pretty much what we just read. Gleason previously worked on a U.S. digital service founded in 2014 by former President Barack Obama as a technology office within the executive office of the president. Trump signed an executive order in January that renamed the office the United States Doge Service, establishing Doge. Though Musk has been the public face of Doge, he has no quote-unquote actual or formal authority to make government decisions himself, and is working as a senior advisor to the president, a White House official said in a separate court filing filed back in February. So there's that. Elon Musk is gone. You know, it's tough when your mans leaves you. The last thing, we ain't done a Diddy update in a minute. So here's a Diddy update.
Diddy afternoon update. We are on day 11, and I'm very sorry for the late update, but we finished the direct testimony of the witness, Deontay Nash, the celebrity stylist who is very close with Cassie, and then we started on the cross-examination, which was done by Xavier Donaldson. And his testimony was a lot. It was a lot about the violence that Cassie experienced at the hands of Diddy, and also the violence that Deontay himself experienced at the hands of Diddy, which was shocking, but a lot of what we've already heard before, if that makes sense. So he spoke about the incident.
He said, in other words, Diddy stuff. No Diddy.
Deontay, that Cassie also spoke about, where Deontay, Mia, and Cassie were at her LA apartment after going out for a little bit during the day. Maybe there was some day drinking. I'm not certain, but they went back to Cassie's apartment, the three of them. And according to Deontay, they were helping her pack for this Canadian music festival. And, you know, he said that, but he also said Cassie was sleeping on the couch, which Cassie testified as well during her direct. But Diddy shows up at the door. Deontay lets him in. He's irate. And he says something like, you know, I told that B to call me. And that's when he kind of rips Cassie off the couch by her hair and starts beating her. And Deontay said that he jumped on Diddy's back. You know, Diddy threw him off. And then Mia jumped on his back, threw her off. And that's when he started beating Cassie again until her temple hit the side of a bed frame and started gushing blood. Then he said that Diddy got a little nervous. Deontay went to get towels. He said that he was going to call 911, or he started to call 911, but he stopped. He said someone told him to stop, and he doesn't remember who, but he hung up. And then that's when Diddy said that D-Rock should take Cassie to a plastic surgeon. He testified about another time he and Cassie were cooking at her apartment. This is 2013 or 2014. They were in LA. Sorry, I ate something and I feel like it's coming out of my teeth. He said that Diddy showed up at her house. And again, he just said, I want to talk to Cassie. And then he grabbed Cassie and it said by her hair and by her shirt for whatever reason. He was mad at her. I don't know the exact reason, but he grabbed her by the hair and by the shirt. And he said, get the hell out of my house, or get the F out of my house. to Cassie after this argument. And then he did the same thing to Deontay, but Deontay said he kind of popped him in the head a little bit and said, get out of my house before pushing him out. Now, Deontay said when he did this, Cassie was kind of still in the house, but like by the door. So Deontay said he left the apartment. He goes to the valet to get his car, but he sees Diddy's security there. And again, I don't know what this fight is about.
Is this him? This Deontay? Oh, this is Deontay. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, this is Deontay. So his name is Deontay Nash. You said that man puff over the head. Like, what is you doing? What is wrong with you? I've seen this dude before. BET Awards. Well, that's the carpet he's on right there. BET. Oh wait, this dude. Sorry, I wasn't even sharing the page.
And he didn't say what the fight was about. It was just they were cooking, and Diddy showed up at the house angry at Cassie. And again, I'm sorry if that sounds confusing. That's all that we know. So he said he gets down to the valet, and Diddy's security is there, and he said they kind of blocked him. And he said that then Diddy and Cassie came down, and that Cassie was crying, and she got into his car, Deontay's car, and then Diddy comes up and starts berating them, calling them broke asses, and then they drive off. And then Cassie gets a call from Diddy, and he says to pull over. So they do. And then he comes up to her car window, I guess, or, on the passenger side, and he starts making threats to her, saying that he was going to release the sex tapes to her parents' work. He was going to get her parents fired. Her brother is a bitch. And literally, I wrote all this down, and that Diddy is the only one who protects her. So they drive to Deontay Nash's house. Cassie is crying. And he actually said that he said to Cassie, who cares? Let him release these tapes. He's on them too. And Cassie said to him, actually, he's not on them. Another man is on them. I'm having sex with someone else. So, that's what's going on. Oh, and then he said that Cassie told him that, she didn't want to do it, but she was doing it for Diddy. Now they get to his house, or no, I'm sorry. They're on the way to his house, but then he says it's going to be safer for Cassie just to get a taxi and go somewhere else to a hotel. So he drops her off on Sunset Boulevard. He goes to his house, and he talks about how Diddy shows up at his house and starts looking for Cassie everywhere. And he actually said that Diddy looked in the oven. He's like, I don't know why he did that. But as a side note, he was a very sassy, kind of funny witness. He said things like that. Like, Diddy looked in the oven. I don't know why he did that. But then finally, he said that Diddy took his phone and his keys. And then Cassie called Deontay Nash's phone from the hotel she was at. And it was the La Montrose Hotel. And so, she called, and he answered, and he's like, oh, that's where she is. So let's go there. So they go to La Montrose Hotel. And according to Deontay Nash, the front desk told them where Cassie's room was. And Diddy said, go get her, like, thinking she'll come with him. And he said, give me my phone back. Deontay said this to Diddy. So he gets his phone back, and he goes upstairs. They find Cassie. And I believe, yes, D-Rock was with him at the time. And Cassie jumped when they opened the door or walked in, and they said, Diddy's looking for you. Sorry, Diddy's looking for you. And according to Deontay Nash, she basically said she'd rather jump off the balcony type of thing. He said she went to the balcony and said she was going to go over. So however you want to interpret that. And I guess one of the security guards said, no, we'll take you out of the side. Sorry if you heard my children. And so Deontay said, Cassie goes with the security guard. He goes downstairs, tells Diddy that, she must have gone home, didn't see her. So Deontay says that when he leaves, Diddy's all mad or whatever, but he went to a hotel because he didn't feel safe going home that night. So he said he went home the next day, and his backpack was stolen. And he had $1,000 cash, an iPad, his ID. And he said that he kept cash for hotels. So, just in case, and in case for Cassie. So they wouldn't have to use their names. He talked about, seeing bruises on Cassie. Definitely in 2016, she was getting ready for the Perfect Match premiere, and he FaceTimed with her, saw the eye bruise or the black eye from the Intercontinental. And there was some talk about her drug use, about her 29th birthday, about her not wanting to do a freak off and him kind of witnessing this. He talked about Diddy, at one point Diddy had threatened him and said, I don't want you going out, because if you go out, she wants to go out too. Talking about Cassie, there was this one time they went to a gay bar with Rita Ora, they actually mentioned. And so he talked about another time on a movie set, Cassie was doing her thing, or not a movie set, I'm sorry, a music video set. And Diddy cornered him outside and threw him up against a car and said, like, I told you, don't go out with her. Because I guess they went out the night before or something like that. So, yes, her birthday, she didn't want to do an FO. He witnessed an escort leaving their hotel room in Vegas one night. They were on the same floor. And he said also during his direct that he doesn't hate Diddy. And he actually texted with him, after he left in 2018. And he stopped styling Diddy and Cassie when Cassie and Diddy broke up. And during the cross, there was kind of a lot going on with that, but I was wondering where it was going. So that's why I guess I'll be brief with some of these notes and we'll finish it tomorrow. So maybe I'll have a little more context, but Xavier Donaldson talked about how he didn't want to have these meetings with the government. And he said, are you sure you had your lawyer with you? Are you sure you're not planning to sue Diddy or make a demand for any money? And he said, no, I've just had my lawyers with me for that meeting and for this case, because I just don't do federal court. And he said, okay, are you sure? He showed him some transcripts saying, are you sure you are not going to sue him? And he said, I'm sure. Deontay Nash also talked about Cassie's music a lot, how Diddy would threaten not to record or to release her songs, how he didn't put her mixtape out for sale. And Donaldson was kind of like, you know a lot about music, but you're a stylist. How did you know all of this? He basically said that, Diddy gave you your start, didn't he? You were a celebrity stylist because you started off as an intern at Bad Boy, basically. And he said, yeah, you're right. He talked about, I guess, being high during some meetings with the government. I'll get into more tomorrow when we finish because I can tie it all together. But again, he was just a sassy witness. At one point, he was being asked a question about Cassie, and he said, "Oh, like you mean Mrs. Fine? Her last name?" And it was funny. There was some comic relief there amid some of the.
That's like she said. That's funny amid all the crazy parts and stuff like that. Here's his sketch. So yeah, man. That's pretty much it. That's it for tonight. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. As always, my name is Rashad Milligan. If you are new to the channel, this is the road to 5K subs. At 5K subs, we are getting YouTube red, so no more advertisements on any of the reactions. After 5K subs, we are we're around 170 or 180. Yeah, I think maybe 180. 180 away from 5,000. So make sure you guys sub and get us to 5K by the end of June. As always, my name is Rashad Milligan. Please take care of yourself. Have a good morning. Have a good afternoon. Have a good evening. Have a good night. Whenever you're watching this. And as always, nobody else told you today. I care for you. Until next time, see y'all tomorrow.
That's for losers, man. I don't get involved in that stuff, but
Angel Rashad Milligan rolling out.
That's a good question.
Brandon, we can't ask Rashad a question.
Hey, Rashad.